we want to welcome to the program Christina Bryant. Hello, Christina. How's everything?
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the program. So let's get right to it. How were you first introduced to the world of health and fitness?
Oh, I ended up going through a crazy divorce, and I go to the doctor, and they're having to do like a wellness check, make sure my blood pressure, all these different things when it comes to a normal checkup with your primary care physician. And he said, you know, you're morbidly obese, and I can either A, put you on medications, or B, you can start working out. So I started working out.
You mentioned that you were there other things going on during that time besides your divorce or any type of issues that had happening in terms of anything career related that kind of also drove you to this to this world of fitness?
No. I literally was not an athlete at all. The most of working out that I did was actually walking the trail in my neighborhood. It was never anything serious as I am now.
Okay, awesome to hear. So now that you're in the world of fitness now, and definitely you've combated those health issues that you previously had through the world of fitness, and it works wonders because, as they say, you know, the power of exercise, man, it can really make a difference in more ways than one, no matter how you get in shape. I want to get now into the world of personal training. How did you get involved in the world of personal training?
I fell in love with seeing the light bulb go off with other women when it comes to their confidence and health. A lot of women come to me and they don't know where to start, they don't know how to start, and they don't know what to do. So for me to be able to teach another woman how to create a healthy lifestyle and not look at it as just a diet and exercise, but actually creating a lifestyle, it really does bring me joy and pleasure to help someone else.
I want to stay with personal training for a moment. Do you, with your clients, do you train your clients the same way, or do you train them differently depending upon fitness levels and what type of regimen that they need, just in terms of far as like maybe strength training or cardiovascular workouts?
I do. I train them according to their goals and also according to what their health is concerned. So we sit down, we do a consultation. We go over everything about their body, from any medications that they may take to any ailments they may have, to any health conditions, or even if they want to compete. We go over everything. We kind of come up with a plan together to kind of help them reach their goals.
Okay, I want to say, again, with personal training, again, with your clients, there's recently, a lot of people have really switched over to a vegan diet, going plant-based. Do you recommend a plant-based diet to your clients, or do you kind of give them balance and give them a little room on a little flexibility in the diet department?
So I do have one client that's vegan, and we battle back and forth a lot about that. I'm just not a fan of it because I don't feel like the person gets enough nutrition in their diet from just being vegan. I know it's healthy when they think of vegetables and things of that nature, but you can still go overboard with your carbs and your sugars and your fat intake being a vegetarian or a vegan. So it's a real thin line on what's too much and what's not enough in the diet. When you incorporate strength training and things of that nature, you want to make sure that a person is getting enough protein and enough nutrients replenished back in their body after they have lifted weights.
Okay. Again, with your personal training business, I wanted to ask you, what is a typical day like with your clients? Do you normally train your clients like 5 days a week or 6 days a week, or if so, how do you break up the hours and with enough time with your clients?
So I normally train my clients starting between 10 a.m. and all the way up to 6, 7 o'clock at night. I space them out every hour, and then I make sure, I say around 12 or 1 o'clock, between 12 and 3, that's my time to train in the gym. So early morning, I'll get up and do my cardio regimen and things I have to do, train my clients. Midday, I take a break, eat my lunch, train myself. And then around 3 or 4, I start back training the clients for the rest of the day. But an hour workout is what I normally give them. And they normally train, a lot of them they train 3 days a week, and some train 2 days a week.
Okay, so you definitely have your hands full in your schedule. And you mentioned about training for your competition, which we'll get to in just a moment. But the Pretty Lifter, how did you come up with the name?
My best friend, she was just like, can't be on Instagram and not have a nice name. So we got to think of a good name. And she was like, well, you lift weights and you're pretty. How about the Pretty Lifter? Which made total sense. So I just kind of ran with it.
All right, and indeed it did make a lot of sense. You know, you have to stand out sometimes on social media. And speaking of lifting, let's transition over to bodybuilding. And just tell me, how did you get introduced to that sport?
So, of course, you know, on a weight loss journey where I started, I was 270, and I got down to about 190 pounds, and I plateaued out. I couldn't figure out how to get the rest of the weight off, but I knew I wanted to keep going. So there was a couple in my town who were bodybuilders already. They were ex-Marines, and they had opened up a smoothie shop, and they had a personal training studio in the back of the smoothie shop. So they said, well, come lift with us, and let's see if we can kind of create a different method or way for you to kind of trim the rest of the weight off. Well, once I picked up a weight and they taught me some things, I kind of fell in love with it, and it just went on from there.
Okay, do you remember your first competition?
I do. It was in 2017. It was the INBF Southern Natural Show there, held and hosted by Mr. Ronnie Hilaire in Savannah, Georgia. I was so nervous. I prepared this routine. I'm thinking it's 60 minutes. I'm going to do my thing and just all out, get the check-ins, and they say, oh, no, your routine needs to be 90 minutes long. So I stayed up the night before, scrambling, trying to figure out a whole nother routine to add on to what I had already done. But that next morning when it was time to go to the show, my best friend came in from, I think she was traveling from Boston at the time. And she was doing my makeup, and we were all backstage, and she looked at me, and she was like, Christina, I want you to look around, and I want you to know that you're going to win this show. And I said, well, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm just here to do my best. She said, no. She said, you look like a freak of nature compared to the rest of these girls. You're going to do very well. And I got up there, my first show ever, and I took first place in overall. And I felt like I had accomplished something that I stuck with all the way through, and I was something that I was good at.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on, that's rare because, you know, when you enter, like, not just the first contest, the first anything, you know, a lot of people don't really finish first, let alone in the top 5, but congratulations on that achievement right there. Bodybuilding is normally known as a strength sport. Do you do cardio to prepare for your routine, or do you do it just as a way to just keep your heart rate going?
Conditioning. So the conditioning of the body, the leaner that you get, the more muscle definition you'll see. And it's something that you have to do consistently in order for you to get that paper-thin skin and be able to have that hard, conditioned look that the judges are wanting.
One of the key components of preparing for a competition is always diet. What's your diet like?
So I'll get carbs on the weekends, and during the week is normally a little bit of fat and plenty of protein, high protein.
What's your favorite cheat food?
My favorite cheat food would have to be a burger.
Okay. Normally, I thought you were going to say maybe pizza or something like that. Most people say pizza or maybe a French toast sticks or something like that.
No, my body doesn't digest the cheese properly. That's why I can't do the pizza.
Okay. These competitions are intense, and a lot of the women come in and they prepare and they do a lot to get their bodies in the shape that it's in. Do you ever get intimidated at times being up on stage with the other competitors?
I used to, but I know how hard I work. So now it's just a matter of maintaining my confidence. I know what I offer and what I bring to the table as a competitor. So, if anything, the most I get nervous about is if my makeup's not right or if my suit's going to pop on stage. But as far as being able to stand next to other women on stage and hold my own, I feel confident.
How long does it take to get a routine down?
I practice all year round. I look at different poses or I'll look at different old school bodybuilders and I create my own routine. And I say about 10 weeks out, I start really cranking it up a notch and I'll practice twice a day. I'm to the point where I'm about 4.5, 5 weeks out now and I practice for at least an hour per day.
What weight class or weight classes do you compete in?
So for the pros, they don't have a weight class. I'm a women's physique competitor. So they just go by your aesthetics and your look. I could be standing next to a girl that's 6'6" and I'm 5'2". NPC organization, they may go by weight class, so they may go heavyweight, welterweight, lightweight. But if I was to be considered in a weight class, I'd be considered a heavyweight because I'm over 145 pounds.
How did you earn your pro card?
I took the first spot at Junior Nationals in Chicago.
Do you compete in drug-free competitions, or do you compete in competitions where others are kind of using enhancements, or do you have a preference in what competitions you enter?
I'm in the IFBB, so if you're in the, I put it this way, it's the NFL of bodybuilding. So if you want to be able to compete and stand next to some of the best, then, you know, it is what it is when it comes to that. And that's as far as I go with that question.
Okay. You're the ambassador for an organization called Wings of Strength. Can you tell the audience just a little bit what Wings of Strength is all about?
So Wings of Strength is the women's bodybuilding ambassadorship program. They select a select group of women to kind of help endorse and promote female bodybuilding, and they're pushing for us to be celebrated as women bodybuilders.
Okay. Do you find the mentorship to be very valuable in that organization?
I do. It creates a really good camaraderie amongst women, especially in an industry where we already kind of get looked at differently because we do have muscle. So it just gives a sisterhood amongst all the women to know that there's others that look like us and we share some of the same struggles and some of the same wins.
All right, awesome to hear. So then you're busy with as an ambassador for that organization, and also you're busy out in the viral world as well. You have a YouTube channel where you offer motivational tips as well as workout videos. Just tell the audience a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Yes, so I do have a YouTube channel that kind of goes over my life as a pretty lifter. I get a lot of people that ask questions, and I try to answer those questions when it comes to a life as a female bodybuilder, especially in the African-American community. Also, I interview other athletes and other women with the ability to be able to share their story and their journey and how they got started in the bodybuilding. It's not too many African-American women who get to share their experiences. We don't get to get put in the limelight as much. There's some of us who do, but the majority of us don't. So I think it's a way to kind of shed light on women like myself, of how we live our lives. Amazon Prime documentary about my story from 270 pounds to becoming an IFBB pro. To me, it's called, number one, it's called You Become Inspired. It's on Amazon Prime. It's season 2, episode 201. But it just kind of gives light on my story and everything that I went through to get to where I am now.
Yeah, it's nothing like inspiration, and definitely you've been your story is inspiring, and definitely your story serves as a source of inspiration for a lot of people that want to be healthy and want to be active. So great job for being featured in that documentary. Speaking of inspiration, you've inspired a lot of people, particularly what you do going to various elementary schools and community centers in your community. Can you just tell our audience a little bit about what you do in terms of getting the word out about being healthy and staying active?
Yes. So here in my local community, I'm really big on helping other women, of course, and also in the school system, I noticed that there's an issue with the foods that they serve the kids. Also, the kids aren't eating those foods. They just don't like the food, so they would rather have snacks and junk food. Well, a lot of my friends that are teachers have stated the snacks and junk food or them not eating food because they don't like it, it hinders their learning. And as a kid, I never experienced that, and I don't think it's fair to the kids today to not be able to learn to their best ability based upon junk snacks or foods that aren't really healthy and a balanced meal throughout the day that I was afforded when I was a kid.
Do you give the youth any tips on exercise and just how to keep moving?
I do. I'm always encouraging people to get involved, get up, get moving. I tell all my clients that do have kids, I let them know, hey, get your kids involved, especially if it's something new and something that you're trying to incorporate. Get your kids involved in it. They're going to hold you accountable to a goal because they know what you're trying to achieve. I've seen plenty of people where their kids have told on them because they know that mommy and daddy have a goal that they're trying to reach. So they can't sneak and hide and not do right by their dad because the kids will tell on them. But they also kind of help hold them accountable and keep them motivated.
Awesome. Now let's stay with the youth and currently what you do and giving back to your community. If there was a youth that said that they wanted to get involved in strength training, what age do you recommend for them to take that next level?
It just depends on the sport and the activities that they're involved in. I do have a lot of middle school and high school parents that reach out to me to kind of help add a little muscle density to their children, also to focus on their form and their strength and conditioning.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. Now tell the audience before we let you go, Christina, where can they find you on social media?
Yes, I can be located on social media at the @ symbol, the Pretty Lifter. And it's not TER, it's LIFTA. So the Pretty Lifter on Instagram. I also can be found on Facebook as Christina the Pretty Lifter Bryant. And my YouTube channel is Christina the Pretty Lifter as well.
All right, and you heard it from her. She's Christina Bryant. She's a personal trainer. She's an athlete. Christina, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the program.
I thank you so much for having me.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.